I'm sure Penn State fans are raising their hands right now saying, hey, what about this weekend here? How do you see Penn State at the Horseshoe versus Ohio State working out, David?
Man, Penn State's leaking oil. I mean, they're a team that had a lot of momentum early, but has definitely struggled. And I was just watching Minnesota and Indiana games back and looking at their defense. Their defensive front seven is really, really good. But they struggle versus play action. I think I took notes. It was like 17 of 17, Rich, in play action the last two games against Penn State, where the quarterbacks literally were 17 of 17. And they struggle. They're too aggressive in the back end, biting down, and they just struggle in the back end, period. So they're going to have to score a lot of points. And KJ Hamler's going to have to be healthy. And, they're definitely going to have to – they're going to have to get hot again. They're going to have to find their mojo again. They got a great defensive front seven, but, Penn State's not playing their best. And I think Ohio State has played consistently really, really good throughout the season. So I think Penn State's going to have to get some fortuitous bounces like they did a couple years ago and make some plays in special teams and create some big plays like that if they're going to try to pull the upset.
Well, you could make the case that halftime of Penn State-Michigan was potentially a turning point for both teams. As you said, Penn State's leaking oil. That first half looked great, and then the second half not so much. And Michigan was leaking oil pretty much up until that halftime. And Jim Harbaugh said, we're about to have our finest hour. And who knew he saw something good coming, and it has developed. Do you see any shot for Michigan in the big house against Ohio State?
Oh, Michigan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Michigan's playing great, Rich. I mean, I think they're one of the hottest teams in college football, and they got a great identity offensively. And I think the teams that Michigan would struggle with would be big physical teams, because Michigan's not what they used to be up front as far as size and quickness and speed and playmaking like they were with those big old suckers in the trenches with Winovich and Gary and all these guys had over the last couple of years, but they still got speed. They can still play man cover. They still have good corners. They still have great speed in the front seven. And so I think them and Ohio State are on a great collision course. And wouldn't it just be a fitting result just to see Michigan maybe beat Ohio State at the end of the season? Like, wouldn't that just be like last year Ohio State ruined Michigan's season at the end of the year when nobody really gave them any chance, and this year Michigan's going to come in as a huge underdog, and it just seems fitting for this rivalry that we all love to watch every single year at the end of the season, that something like that would happen, or we're going to talk about it for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll see. But that would obviously be a remarkably satisfying ending for Michigan fans to that season. But first things first, you got Ohio State, Penn State this weekend, obviously A&M versus Georgia, Texas at Baylor in that regard. And I'm sure you'll be discussing all of that on College Game Day.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.